On the October 11th episode of Geeking Off The Page, the foursome premiered their latest segment, Defending Your Role. And in this inaugural edition, the guys are tasked with defending their randomly chosen subject matter of Batman.
Welcome, fellow geeks. My name is Troy Bowman, and I'm Batman.
And I'm Mike Kitchen, and I'm Batman.
And I'm Trevor Brown, and I'm Batman. Rachel!
I'm Gavin, and I'm Batman.
All right. So seeing last week, we wrapped up with our box office showdown, version 1. We're now going to move on to something else that we cobbled together with just a inkling of an idea. And the idea is we're coming up with a new segment called Defending Your Role. So what it is this is an audience participation sort of thing as well. What it is every single time we do a Defending Your Role, and I think we'll do it maybe a bi-weekly thing. Every other week we'll do something like that, like this. And the idea is
Bi-weekly, twice a week, or every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Sorry, old conversation back in
Yes.
the comic book days.
Oh, okay. Bi-weekly, yes, exactly. Yes, bi-monthly. Right, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the idea is what we are given is we are given a subject matter. One person will pick a subject matter and they will have 6 options. The 4 people involved in the conversation will take a single 6-sided die and roll that single 6-sided die. And whichever number they roll up, that's the subject that they actually have to defend as being the best in this group. And so for an example, our particular first attempt at this is going to be the Batman edition. So what we've done is we've chosen the actors that have portrayed a Batman, 6 of them, and we basically, 1 is Adam West, 2 is Michael Keaton, 3 is Val Kilmer, 4 is George Clooney, 5 is Christian Bale, and 6 is going to be Ben Affleck. So our roles, we basically, on our little conversation that we have each other, we basically post the actual individual roles that we have so that everyone knows what everyone else is picking. And then if someone has a duplicate number, they have to re-roll. So whoever posts first gets that number first. So, and I believe we are going to be starting off with the number 1 role, which belongs to Gavin and Adam West. Go ahead, there, Gavin, defend your role.
Adam West.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start here. Why is Adam West Batman the best Batman? Let's face it. No matter how grim the situation was, Batman always had a solution. Whether it was using back shark repellent, getting eaten by a giant clam, or having to outsurf the Joker, there was always a solution. Name one Batman that had a gadget for every situation. Name one Batman who bothered to label everything in the Batcave or Batmobile so that even a trained monkey could navigate around the Batcave. And if the Batmobile, the Batcopter, the Batboat were all out of commission, when was the last time you saw a Batman race? Yes, race to the scene of a crime, running out of breath. Adam West Batman did. He was that devoted. And when you think Batman, you inevitably think Bruce Wayne. And no one outdresses Adam West's Bruce Wayne. Holy artful ascots Batman. The man oozes style and fashion sense. From black tie dining to relaxing in the Bat Library, this Bruce Wayne was pure debonair. This Batman even had his own signature dance, the Batootsie. How come Batman doesn't dance anymore? Sheer lack of talent? Not this Batman. And those eyebrows. None of this dark, foreboding brooding. This Batman's eyebrows are set on wholly optimistic outlook, Batman. And what about moral flexibility? Name one Batman who sticks to his scruples. Adam West does. No villain died under his watch. He treated every single one of his villains with respect in the hopes of turning them around and rehabilitating themselves. Not to mention, every single female villain, he treated them, yes, ma'am. Adam West Batman is the best of everything that is Batman. Detective, crime fighter, caring father figure. Adam West, best Batman.
That was a great job, Gav. That was awesome.
I wasn't sure how I was going to pull that off.
How long did it take you to write that one?
Oh, it took me a couple of days, just kind of on and off. I was trying to do it with, I was debating on doing it with the Adam West cadence, but I don't know if I could pull that off properly.
No one could. No one could.
Okay, I'm gonna have to congratulate on you on that one, Gavin. Wow, that was. I'm sorry. That was very impressive. I really enjoyed that. Wow. Okay. Wow. I guess we got I got my work cut out for me because I ended up with role number 2, which means it's Michael Keaton. And of course, Michael Keaton is the best Batman there is because of anyone of our age. This is the first Batman that we actually got to see as our own. It is the it's the anticipates. It is the point that we needed to see a DC comic movie. Prior to this, we had, of course, Christopher Reeve's Superman in like the late 70s was cool. And then we had another Superman movie. And then we had Swamp Thing, we had Supergirl, we had Superman Quest for Peace. DC made movies were on the downslide. Then there's rumors of them doing a Batman movie. And from the director, Tim Burton doing a comic book movie? What's that all about? But the idea that the man that did Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Beetlejuice is going to be making a comic book movie, sure, this seems interesting. Then you find out who's getting the role, and that's Michael Keaton. Wait, 1982's Night Shift, Michael Keaton? 1983's Mr. Mom, Michael Keaton? 1984's Johnny Dangerously, Michael Keaton? What is going on with this? Once. The only nice thing about this is, wait a sec, these gentlemen have worked before. Beetlejuice, Tim Burton, and Michael Keaton worked well together. We then, just before that, have a movie coming out just prior to Batman called Clean and Sober, where we actually see Michael Keaton doing his actually acting. So here's a little bit of a story for me personally. I am in high school. I am doing co-op. I'm working at the National Film Board on an animated feature. The day is May 24th, 1989. And the group of us decided to take off early from work to go see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on its opening day. We are sitting in the movie theater. I can't remember which theater it is, but it's a classic theater, downtown Toronto, big screen, red velvet curtains. They're playing Star Wars music in the theater while we're all waiting. And one of the guys that is one of the animators working for the National Film Board, the top of his lungs, while everyone's sitting there, says, "You know what? I think Michael Keaton will make an excellent Batman." Of course, the audience starts laughing and all that. Little do we know that just under a month later, on June 23rd, the world is exposed to 1989 Batman, and Michael Keaton is playing the role of the ultimate vigilante in the DC universe. We are given a character description of a man who is a tortured soul. His Bruce Wayne is a very funny character. His Batman is a completely different character, which is a fantastic way to do it. Michael Keaton's Batman plays well up against his Joker. There have been other Jokers, and the Batman that go up against those Jokers always seem to be a little overshadowed by that Joker. This is one of the few times, and we are talking a Jack Nicholson Joker, that Michael Keaton fights, puts himself on the same pedestal as Jack Nicholson. The sequence where Bruce Wayne goes off on the Joker about, "You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts," is fantastic. And that's Michael Keaton acting at his greatest. He works well with all of his femme fatales. while Vicky Vale, portrayed by Kim Basinger, is a really great relationship, the fact that it moves into the next movie, he's working with Michelle Pfeiffer and Selena Kyle. His Bruce works beautifully with her, but works even better as his Batman against the Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer. And then throw in Danny DeVito as the Penguin. The Batman is at his greatest when he is in this situation. It's a three-sided triangle. A three-sided triangle. Really, Troy? You're going to use that analogy? But the idea that, yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. I know, three-sided triangle is a fantastic way to do it. He holds his own in every single thing. He introduces the gadgets. Now, I know Adam West had his gadgets, and I will give you that whole entire thing, Gavin, what you said about labeling. Yes, I will not deny that. But this Batman doesn't have a Lucius Fox. This Batman comes up with all this stuff on his own. Again, Adam West, sure, same thing. A label maker, works. Part of the utility belt. But this is the man with the gadgets. These are practical gadgets. These seem to work. This Batmobile, the most iconic of all Batmobiles, is this Batmobile. This Batman has the fantastic Batmobile. We're not talking the next step with the neon and all that. We're talking classic Burton-esque Batman. This is also a Batman that inspires probably the greatest Batman, the animated series. So that being said, Michael Keaton's Batman is the best Batman so far. Oh, and he's also coming back in the next Flash movie. Who's next? Oh, I guess that would be me giving out the information of what the next role would be. And I believe we are going to the number 4 role, which is Mr. Michael. And he has George Clooney. So Michael, defend your role.
All right, just for the record, internet seems to be cutting out around here, so I'm not running away from this, just so you know. If suddenly the screen goes black, it's not because I'm running away from this challenge. However, I mean, let's face it, George Clooney's been apologizing for this role ever since he acted it. That's 20 years and he's still apologizing. I don't know why anybody would like this movie. I didn't even watch this movie. Like, it was bad enough with Jim Carrey and whatever Two-Face in the previous one. I think the only reason I saw this is I might have seen it playing in Trevor's apartment and I walked in for a couple of sequences of it. I'm pretty sure that's because I know for sure I did not see this movie. I can't defend it. There's no defense for this movie unless you like bat nipples. I mean, if you like bat nipples, I mean, like seriously, vote for the bat nipples if you're going to do it. Now, George Clooney, okay, he was great in ER. He could have done a Thomas Wayne, right? The fact that Bruce Wayne's father was a doctor and he helped people. I totally buy George Clooney as Thomas Wayne. But he's a lousy Bruce Wayne. I know I'm supposed to be making my argument, so I apologize for completely ruining this. This is why I'm not a defense attorney, because I have to try and speak my truth. So this is why I'm in storytelling and not making big money as a lawyer defending people. However, anybody that wants to throw a monkey wrench into this whole process, just vote for George Clooney, because he's not the best Batman. Let's face it. Okay, his jawline and the cowl look pretty cool. Like, it's better than Christian Bale. I'm Batman. So I'll give him that. That wasn't so bad. I mean, he wasn't prancing around in silly tights, like the old 70s Batman or whatever, right? No, I got no defense for this. Mr. Mom did a better job as Batman. Let's just face it. He didn't even have the colors right, okay? At least Tim Burton got the colors right. It's like, okay, it wasn't gray and blue and yellow. It was just like everything was wrong. Anyways, yeah, vote for George Clooney.
All right, and that brings us down to the number 6 role, which is Mr. Brown, and he is going to be defending Ben Affleck as the best Batman. So, Mr. Brown, defend your
right.
role.
Oh God! So when I first heard that Ben Affleck had been chosen to be Batman, I was more along the lines of, "Really? You sure? That's the barrel you're going for?" So I didn't really think he had I didn't know if he had the acting chops to pull off Batman, um, or Bruce Wayne for that matter. But then I saw him in the first time we saw Batman, which was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Not a great movie. Barely qualifies as a bad movie. There were just some, you know, did he do a good job? And I think he did. I think he played Bruce Wayne as, this is a character he's been Batman for a good portion of his life and has reached a point where, the spirit's willing, but the flesh is weak. He's accrued too much damage, too much age. He can't physically be Batman anymore. So he has stepped into the role of Bruce Wayne, and he basically returns as Batman after all of the wanton destruction that we saw in Man of Steel, also Zack Snyder's movie. And this is where we see Bruce Wayne / Batman at his best. How do you take down a living god? What do you do? So they pulled from the Dark Knight Returns comic book. You use power-assisted armor. You use kryptonite. And that's what he did. Now, unfortunately, I was getting that. Unfortunately, the writers got real damn lazy and how are we going to get these guys to fight together? Martha, which will go down in the annals of cinematic history of two guys got drunk and wrote down the word Martha on a cocktail napkin and thought that was the answers to the universe. Terrible writing aside, Affleck brought to life Bruce Wayne. He was a very believable Bruce Wayne. He was at the point where he wasn't Batman acting as Bruce Wayne because he could no longer be Batman. He was someone who accepted that, okay, this is how he was going to change the world. He could no longer do it as Batman. He was going to do it as Bruce Wayne. Circumstances forced him back into the role of Batman. And he picked up the character. So that when we saw him very briefly in Suicide Squad, we saw Batman, taking down, Deadshot, taking down Harley. But more importantly, we saw him at the end as Bruce Wayne dealing with Amanda Waller as Bruce Wayne. And we saw the power that Bruce Wayne could wield. He was no longer the vague playboy that everyone was like, oh God, what a waste of space. This is a focused businessman. Then we jump into Justice League, be it the Zack Snyder Justice League or the mishmash multi-director Justice League, but we see him having to jump back into the role, or not just jump back, but stay in the role of Batman because of the threat to the world. But it was an interesting thing. You had a Batman that didn't want to be the team leader. He knew his limitations. He knew that they had to get Superman back, that he couldn't, people aren't going to follow Batman because he's too mysterious, too spooky. He needs the world's greatest Boy Scout to be the team leader. So, we see him working on the giant plane. We see him coming up with the ideas of, how do we bring back, Clark Kent? How do we bring back Superman? And again, at the end of the film, you see him, he was willing to take the sacrifice of, sacrifice his own life for the greater good to get the job done, which is the attitude that probably got him to the point where his body was so battered that he had to hang up the mantle of the Bat, willing to put his body on the line. He's running around with metahumans who are super strong and super fast, and he's just a guy. And he even says, what's your superpower? And says, I'm rich. It was a great throwaway line. He's got the drive, he's got the will. Luckily, he had the cash to get it done. So I think Ben Affleck was the best Batman because he was one of the best Bruce Waynes. He was a very believable Bruce Wayne who's in the twilight of his career. He's gone past that his best moments and is now on the downslide of old age or older age where he's given it up. And people believed enough of Affleck that he had a solo movie lined up, but he bowed out of it, mainly because the story wasn't there. And I even looked it up, and the story was supposed to be Batman versus Deathstroke, which was going to be a match made in heaven, seeing those two. The idea was they were both trained in the League of Assassins. Deathstroke blamed Batman for the death of his son, and Deathstroke was going to be behind the scenes dismantling Bruce's life from the inside, taking him down until we culminated into a big final fight between the two, which would have been great.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but he is coming back for the Flash movie along with Keaton, so he's good enough. He's in the Flash movie as another Batman. Does he have bat nipples? No. Does he have drawn-on eyebrows so he looks perpetually surprised? No. Can he turn his head without turning his whole body to look?
Okay, I'm gonna put a stop to this right now. I don't think it's very fair of us to tear down anyone else's sort of thing.
I'm not tearing down anybody. I'm just simply stating what makes him a better Batman.
Okay.
And
I'm going to allow that. Go ahead and tear them down, Trevor.
And most importantly, the distinction between Bruce Wayne and Batman is not only just the voice, but if you look closely, he stands differently when he's Batman. He moves differently when he's Batman. And I read up that is a conscious choice that Ben Affleck did as an actor. When he is dressed as Bruce Wayne, he stands in a specific stance. He speaks a certain way. He even gestures with his hands a certain way. When he puts on the cape and cowl, he changes the way he stands. He changes the way he moves. He changes the way he talks. These are the tools that Bruce Wayne would have used so that people could not connect him to Batman. To me, that's the hallmark of a great actor. So, love or hate Ben Affleck as an actor in all his other films, I believe of the choices we had of the 6, he is the best Batman.
Yeah, but can he rock an ascot?
Who would want to? The only person who rocks an ascot is Fred. Okay? So, Gav, you can take that argument, jump in the mystery machine, and hopefully you and Shaggy can light up and pet Scooby for a while. Because the only person who wears an ascot is Fred.
You missed a perfect opportunity to tell me to shove it up my ascot.
No, because I'm not going to lower myself to that.
Besides, with your bad back, you might not want to be doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, that is the arguments for the 4 particular Batmans that we have rolled up to defend. So what it is up to the audience now to go on to our different social medias. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on what's the other one that I'm missing? Twitter. And
we're on Twitter?
Yes, we're on Twitter. Yes. All the links will be at the end of the episode. There's an outro that we have that explains where you can go to all those. And there will be a posting on each of those that is going to be up for the next week and a bit after the drop of this particular episode, and put in your votes. And then 2 weeks later, we'll revisit this whole entire thing and find out.
Vote for Clooney.
And find out.
In fact,
who
where's
actually...
Kevin Conroy in this? You know what? If you like Kevin Conroy, just vote for Clooney.
Yeah. No, if you like Kevin Conroy, just make your own category. Kevin Conroy, I want to see him to get all the votes.
Okay, so first of all, on Twitter, you can make a poll that has 4 options at most. That's why I went with this sort of thing. And we all know that if I had Kevin Conroy in this role, Kevin Conroy automatically wins. I mean,
it would just vote for Clooney.
Yeah, it would have been. And my argument is Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, exactly. So that's the reason why Kevin Conroy was left off the list. Plus, Kevin Conroy technically really hasn't played Batman.
Oh,
sure,
careful,
he was okay.
The rages of nerdom may be unleashed upon us.
No. He is only one time physically been Batman in a 5-minute sequence in a Flash crossover of an Elseworlds storyline on the WB. He is not actually
still blew it out of the goddamn park.
Yeah, but still, I had to take Kevin Conroy out because, first of all, I needed 6.
Would win.
I needed 6 exactly. I needed 6, and if someone ended up getting Kevin Conroy, that's an automatic win. There's no reason to put up any of the votes because even between the 4 of us, we'd all go, yes, Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. He's the best Batman. He's the best Bruce Wayne. I mean, when what you just said about Affleck is 10 times more for Kevin Conroy. The difference between the way the voice, and if you've seen him do any of the voice acting and all that, when you see footage of him doing it, he has a different stance when he does the voice of Batman. He has a different stance when he does the voice of Bruce. And then he not only does Bruce and Batman, he does other secondary, tertiary, and other characters and all that you don't recognize it's Kevin Conroy and that. So I mean, again, he is also the best Batman to stand up against Mark Hamill's Joker. I mean, that's why honestly, I couldn't.
The 6 we had, none of them could stand up against
Mark
Hamill's Joker. Not even close.
No, for sure. No. But anyways,
not even Adam West.
But that's Kevin Conroy, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, it's Kevin Conroy doing the video game. Yeah, the Arkham Asylum and all that video games. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want the best, you get the best, and that's Kevin Conroy. So that being said, Kevin Conroy's not on this list, and that's why. Okay. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to let the audience decide over the next little while what it is, and then we'll come back, revisit this, and we'll give an award to whoever. There's a no award to whoever actually has defended their role.
Vote for Conroy.
And then in another 2 weeks, we'll come up with another subject, and we'll figure out what we go from there. Maybe we'll make it a little more Halloween themed, because it'll be closer to Halloween. And as we tick through the month, we're getting probably some more scarier things, because I think we might have some horror stuff coming up in the next little while that we might want to look at if anyone is interested in that sort of thing. So
please be sure to go to all of our social medias, where you can find a post devoted to Defending Your Role Batman Edition, and leave a comment showing us as to who you think did the best job of defending their role. You could go to Twitter or Instagram. You can search for @PlanetGeekPod. You can email us at planetgeekpod@gmail.com. You can also go to Facebook or YouTube and search for Planet Geek Productions. Thanks for taking part.